bro, hit the iron while it's hot. If you're lit now, go as hard as you can. Do not sleep.
You're the only people doing this here. There's no one else trying. People bash you and they shit on you, but they don't do anything.
Events like this weekend could change someone's life.
The same people who say commenting on your hate would be scared to go to the gym because they would think people are looking at them.
I can barely even enjoy what I gained, and I gained so much.
You're always more lit than you think you are. You may think like, okay, we're like right here, but really you're like here.
But sometimes even seeing it from the outside perspective, it's crazy how much a video can affect.
Welcome to another Bulletproof Boys podcast. Today we have two extremely special guests. We've got Heria, iconic Calisthenics street workout YouTube OG. And we also have Genetic Anomaly, aka Svein in the house. We're at Cora by the DoubleTree at Hilton. Chris, how are you feeling to be over here in Malta?
Bro, look at where we're at, man. This is like an amazing, this is a vacation destination right here. I'm feeling amazing.
Yeah.
And the people in Malta are super, super nice. If you've never been to Malta before, which this is my first time, definitely come through and visit.
This place is totally brand new, and I'm saying like for Malta, we needed places like this, so huge shout out to Cora. Svein, how are you feeling to be back in Malta?
I'm good. I mean, I miss America, I'm not gonna lie. There's all the influencers are there. But if you can manage to fly over influencers here, I don't mind being here, you know.
Chris, what has been the most surprising, shocking, or interesting perspective you've had so far about this whole place? From the people, from what you've seen so far, because even like 3 days is not enough to see everything.
Yeah, that's true. I haven't seen much of Malta here, but what I have seen is you guys and how well you guys work together. I think that's something that stood out to me. You know, not just to gas you guys up, but for real, you guys are a really, really good team. I had a great time out here.
Bro.
We were able to knock out like, I think like 5-6 really big videos, and just being here for like, I don't know, 4-5 days.
And even some interesting ideas that we'll get into.
Yeah, we got big things coming. It's gonna be sick. But yeah, other than that, I really love the architecture here. Everybody here is super nice. Like you can literally ask someone for anyone, and you can literally ask anyone something for pretty much almost anything, and they'll find a way to accommodate you. It's kind of cool. It's definitely not how we're used to it.
It's not like that in Miami.
Rarely. You will find, you know, some of those good souls out there here and there, but for the most part, nah, it's not like that.
Yeah, like Maltese people are a lot more friendly than Americans.
They're just kind, I think, is what it is, you know.
Yeah, I think it's just because the country is so small, like everyone knows everyone, so
That's
it's
true.
like here is very safe. Like so even if people want to move here, at least that's a big plus for the country.
Right.
So yeah, that's cool, man. I think this weekend like really stood out, and Chris, I want to go like straight to you because like not because you know Chris Heria's here, but more of what you represent in that outdoor gym. Like for me to see you over there at the event compared to a couple of years ago when Adam and myself used to train there and get kicked out by the police for training because there's nowhere to train, and then a couple of years later you have the king of calisthenics himself like at the park. That
Honored,
was
Collabing with police themselves.
yeah, literally collabing with the police.
We used to
like,
get kicked out by these police officers, and now for the 2-year anniversary, the fact that you're here and all the plans and ideas we've come up with, they've literally accepted our invite to do, you know, the content for your YouTube, you know, seeing how in shape they are going through the fitness test, the Cali world. So we're already starting to move the needle when it comes to this thing. What do you think about the outdoor gym of Sliema, the one we just did the whole anniversary about?
Wow, I think that's like one of the coolest places I've ever trained at ever in my life, for sure. That's gonna be like an iconic place to go and train. If not now, very, very soon. Like once you guys see the footage and you see like you're literally hitting pull-ups and dips and like anything you want to do, really. You can even get crazy there on some calisthenics skills.
The
but,
drone
like,
shots of
but
the muscle ups with all those people.
Yeah.
Right? It's
That's
so
crazy.
sick. And it's just like, if I had a place to do pull-ups like that with that type of view, I'll be doing pull-ups there all day.
Yeah, I remember us saying, us walking like in COVID, and I remember saying that this place would be a crazy outdoor gym, and we manifested it. I remember saying there's one guy we had to train over here, it's Chris. And this weekend that happened, so
Dude,
that was like
happen,
total
man.
manifestation.
You know how the internet is, you get
yeah.
inspired by seeing you busting out those moves in Miami Beach. So for us, knowing that you're all on the other side of the globe, that we managed to get you here to do what we've been dreaming about our whole lives, thinking about, like from just walking that promenade of Sliema the whole time and saying, what if we had to do that? And seeing it come to real life, seeing it show the kids how to do those muscle ups for the demonstration and seeing you like Chris Heria on the bar, sometimes I usually need to be grateful and digest everything that is happening because it's moving fast. But sometimes when you just take a step back and you like appreciate it, it's
That's amazing.
insane.
Yeah, and that's what I meant earlier, reflecting on your team. You know, that's what I got to see from you guys a lot, is you guys bring these ideas to life, you know, so you guys got to give yourself some credit too. It was a really great event. We basically promoted it in less than 24 hours.
Yeah, like
basically you guys promoted it.
Like 2 videos, 1
in less
video.
than 24 hours.
Yeah,
And
good
yeah,
turnout,
it was a great
man. It was a
turnout.
good fucking turnout.
We're going to do another one. It's going to be a lot bigger. We're going to have more time to promote it, and we're going to do something really sick, you know, but we'll talk about that more later. But yeah.
One of the big, so we have a lot of young people who follow us, and they had a very good question that they asked, but I want to kind of bring it whole over 2 kind of questions, but it's very similar. So you've been doing this for like 15 years almost. You're still like 32, 33.
Yeah.
So I have 2 questions for you. It comes both from like obstacle standpoint. So question 1, what were your biggest obstacles that you faced in your early phase come up?
Mm-hmm.
And now since you're an established creator, what are the obstacles you face more on a frequent basis, like on a month-to-month, 3-month calendar, like obstacles that you have at an established, you know, as an established creator?
Well, I would say that when I first got started, my biggest roadblock was probably finding talent, you know, or being able to delegate a lot of the things that I was doing, because that obviously funnels a lot of the output. You know, you guys have a lot of killers on your team, so it's like you guys are able to move fast. You know, we're filming stuff and like posting it as we're moving. Like you guys don't even have like an office. You're just like bust out the laptop in the car and just like, you know what I'm saying? So you guys are also very young, so you have that like sick work ethic. You know?
So what happened to you back then? So you used to film a lot of videos and realize, oh shit, Chris Heria has to edit the video.
That's what actually happened. So a lot of it got funneled. So I was basically doing everything other than pretty much, well, even from the beginning, I would even just put the camera on a tripod.
You used
like
to
this.
film yourself.
Film it myself, edit it myself, all that. So everything relied on me. So again, a lot of it was funneled at the beginning. That was like the biggest roadblock for me. Luckily, like I had a very clear path. Like I knew what I wanted to do. I knew what the videos I was gonna make was gonna be about. I knew the vision. Like everything was very clear. It was just being able to just produce enough and fast enough, you know. And that was my first roadblock. And then eventually I was able to delegate by teaching people like the task away. So it's like, okay, now I just got to teach someone just like how to hold the camera. That was the first thing, right? And also like I didn't necessarily have the funds to do this either. So as soon as we were able to start making money, I was able to hire help. You know, which was basically like my friends all around me, like Osvaldo Lugones, who, if you do calisthenics, you know he's another legend in the game and stuff. We've been working together from the very beginning. In fact, like he was a legend in the game, and still like he was working at like Telemundo or something like that. And I was like, bro, quit your job right now. And like he was afraid to do it.
He's from Miami as well.
Yeah, job security. Yeah, he's from Miami as well. And I was like, bro, I promise you, I'll pay you more than your job. You know, and it's like,
play.
yeah, and like, dude, I promise you it's gonna be worth it, like this and that, right? And like, we've been working together ever since. So building a strong team, right? And then I would say, eventually, you know, I got that down. I was able to delegate the different tasks.
Oh yeah.
And then now today's time, I would say, is being able to keep that talent up. So it's pretty much the same roadblock is what I have basically. So any of you editors or filmers out there that need a full-time job, that's a badass or like a whiz at YouTube.
Wait, he's looking for editors.
There's a job ad right here. You got a job opportunity. Just email us.
Yeah, Svein is just casually having some food mid-podcast.
Yeah.
And it's fucking steaming as well.
Bodybuilder things over here.
So every video you edit with Chris, you get free food from the Anomaly.
Hey.
Nice.
Sven will be shipping out handmade letters
There you go.
with your macros.
There you
You
go.
have a fork?
No.
He's going to have to eat with his hands.
Yeah, it's not
that's
gonna
crazy.
happen. I think I just used
So-
the-
I'm sure they'll give you a
Let me
fork
ask
over
one
here.
more thing about this. So when you were like in your early days, so you have Chris Heria, the athlete, versus Chris
Should we
Heria.
get this man a fork real quick?
You have a fork?
Can
we get him a
easy
fork?
spoon.
If that's
Can we get a
possible.
fork for Svein?
Anyway, go
Because
on.
Svein
I didn't
doesn't eat,
notice.
poor lad. He doesn't eat.
Thank you.
I'm just arranging
Yeah,
this.
We're good. We're just vibing.
It's your first meal of the day, Svein?
It's my third meal, which is bad.
Sven spent the whole day
Yeah, he had a tough, he had
Doing
a great workout
handstands.
today.
performing handstands.
Yep.
So going back to your first problems you faced. So you had Chris Heria as an athlete and Chris Heria as a creator. You felt like you lacked more as the creator more than the athlete part. You felt like the athlete, you were unlocking your skills, you're do you feel like you're genetically gifted as well when it comes to Chris Heria, the athlete?
I mean, I would say, to be honest, like, okay, maybe like slightly more than the average person, but I think also, I don't know if it's genetics or just I was just conditioning earlier than the average person. You know, like when I was younger, I would do like, bro, leg raises in my room, the push-ups, pretty much the same shit that I've been doing on YouTube.
Crazy.
I was doing that as like a young kid in my room because I started martial arts really easy on. So I was always like kind of conditioning or whatever. And it was like pull-ups and push-ups, you know. Also because I didn't have access to a gym, you know, that cost money as a kid too. Like,
Yeah.
you know, and I didn't come from like a family with
Yeah.
with money to
fair.
spend like that, let's say, you know. So yeah, it started with pull-ups and push-ups and I was always like, I was never like overweight or anything like that as a kid. So maybe that helped. You know?
What? This is
What
hilarious.
about
Like,
you?
I can't even think of that
Svein,
seriously.
were you like, how was your build as a kid? Were you like small and skinny? Were you like overweight? How was it?
I was very skinny, and but wait, I was very skinny, but I grew quick, and people thought I was on gear, just because of the sheer fact that I grew so fast. So that's when I kind of realized that I have really good genetics, because people kept questioning if I was natty or not when I was like 17, 18 years old, just a year into training.
Wow.
So I always had like a broad shoulder. I always had like broad shoulders, a wide frame, and that's part of the reason why people found it weird. Like, how is he so wide at such a young age? You know, where did he get that? It's all
Right.
genetics.
Well, what did you know? I'm sorry. I didn't mean to-
But the funniest thing about you is that from like 16 till 19, before you started taking anything, you were already growing as fast on the newbie gains versus when you started taking. So that's why people felt like this guy was always taking.
Yeah, no.
And even Greg, I remember Greg doing a video on you. He thought you started taking at 15.
Yeah.
That is
Wow.
crazy.
And when you first got started, did you know what you were doing, or were you kind of just like
No.
doing whatever? and for the calories and stuff like that too, were you growing fast from newbie gains, or were you growing fast because you were training and eating like a lot of calories?
I'm known for this. I used to force feed a lot, like a lot. It was crazy, like unhealthy. I used to drink 6 liters of milk a day.
Oh my god.
And aside from the calories I used to get from the 6 liters of milk, because I used to just drink milk instead of water.
You got that on like the forums of like bodybuilding.com or something?
Probably, yeah. I just chucked
I
down
think I've
milk.
seen that. Like they want you to drink like a gallon of milk a day or something crazy.
Yeah.
Bodybuilding.com.
Yeah, I've seen because I know
Yeah.
some kids that have tried
Yeah.
that. Like
That
way,
was-
way back
It
in
was
the
the
day.
shit back in the day.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Milk was like the holy grail.
Yeah, right. Just drink a gallon of milk a day.
So I used to chuck down the milk, and aside from that, I used to force feed like a bunch of rice or pasta every single meal. And there was a time
Just put it in
I
a
said
blender.
I did that before, yeah. I couldn't down my spaghetti and beef, so I blended it. I
Oh
put
my-
some apple juice in it, and then I just downed it.
My, with apple
Yeah.
juice, my
Yeah.
God.
And I had this mindset when I was like 16 years old, so you can imagine now, you know.
Right.
Like, you have to be a bit crazy to get huge. Like, some people don't have the willpower to push themselves to get to a certain point.
Right.
And that goes for calisthenics as well. Like, you need to be dedicated, you need to be disciplined, and you need to be, like, you need to have tunnel vision, and you need to have a plan for what you want, you know. I always looked in the mirror, and I always envisioned myself bigger, and I was like, what if I get bigger shoulders? What if I get a bigger chest? And I constantly, every time I'm training, I imagine myself bigger, and then when it happens, I get addicted to that. Like, when I get bigger and bigger, I just want more and more and more, you know.
Bro,
Yeah,
I was literally
definitely know the
visualizing it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
manifestation.
I mean, it was kind of similar to we filmed a video earlier today where Svein was trying some calisthenics. We actually unlocked the handstand, and it kind of feels similar as you unlock each progression, right? It's like I want to see if I could just like accomplish this first, right? And then you unlock that, and you're like, oh shit, what can I do now? And you unlock that, and you're like, what can I do with that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, and it kind of keeps you going.
And that mentality as well, like exactly what you guys are saying, like when we had come up with the idea of this free gyms concept, was like the gyms are expensive.
Right.
Like young students don't have a lot of money, like they can barely, get around
Facts.
or go on the bus or eat healthy food.
Right.
So I said, what if we had to come up with a concept to get people into the gym, if it's calisthenics, bodybuilding, whatever it is, get them addicted to it, and then they can't do without it. It's so ingrained as part of you.
Oh,
and I
yeah.
think that addicting period, especially at the beginning with the newbie gains,
Yeah.
is where everything like
Big
kicks
facts.
off. That's why you get absolutely obsessed.
Yeah, exactly.
know?
Low-key, imagine everyone from the free gyms, they start figuring out what pull-up bar is. They start hitting the gym. They start saying, bodybuilding is not for me, but I like that pull-up bar when I'm doing pull-ups. And that, like, literally becomes a way for them to get into calisthenics
Yeah.
from from
Yeah.
gym.
Really?
So usually it always starts the opposite.
Yeah,
You know, you start
exactly.
from body weight and then you transition into calisthenics or street workout. But in this case, because they're going to try free gym and they're going to think like they're getting like extra value, because obviously the gym membership's €300. They're going to the gym and noticing, okay, I'd rather do like calisthenics. So
Right.
it could be a discovery
Right.
for these kids who are all getting into the gym for the
Did you get
first
my
time, because
phone?
we've been pushing free gym, that now everyone's talking about the gym because it's top of mind, tip of tongue.
Yeah.
I mean, look how it looks too. It's literally like one of the most amazing places to work out. The view is
Yeah.
insane. Like I said before, if I had that view, maybe I would have done I would have normally done 10 pull-ups in my room or something. With that view, I'm doing like
Yeah.
10 pull-ups every 10 minutes just to chill there. You know,
yeah,
it's sick.
it's like an outing at the same time.
Yeah, it motivates you like subconsciously to just go there and train.
Even like what's really interesting about this dynamic, like especially both of you guys here, is like events like this weekend could change someone's life. Like,
Oh,
what do
yeah.
I mean? It's like, okay, they came to the event, they met their idol, there was Chris, they're like super obsessed with your
Sure.
videos, they got into training through you, and that experience or
Right,
a
went down
content
the
piece that
rabbit
goes
hole.
viral, like it happened to Svein.
Right, that could be the
change
next Chris
whole-
Heria.
Like I remember
That could be the
Svein,
next Svein.
I remember Svein, like before he had come to the event with Mike Tyson and Baywatch on the beach, a guy had sent me this guy's profile. He was still 19, he was still natty at the time. I was like, bro, check this guy out. He's big, he just won like the local bodybuilding competition, and like he's gonna be the shit. And I remember seeing this massive fucking guy at the beach, like walk through to the challenge, and there was this huge guy before him with tattoos. Like this guy was like a monster, but this guy comes up, and
Logged
Stan
in.
Stan Brown asks him, how old are you? And he's like 20, and everyone's like, fuck. And Mike Tyson goes like, this guy's a fucking fridge. And he went viral from the event, and then I just remember him absolutely skyrocketing his socials like after it, just through
Wow.
an experience like that. He just had the platform, he worked on it for years, and he just fucking,
Think about
Genetic
it, like
Anomaly.
yeah.
you don't know all 8 billion people in the world. So we're like, I told him like, who's the biggest 20-year-old? I told him, let's just claim it, like out of just for the fucks of it.
Right.
And claiming it happened to turn into a real claim, because people were trying to find the next big 20-year-old like him, and
Right.
then the conversation
Still
turned,
searching.
Yeah,
Yeah.
still searching. Then we're like, okay, Sam Sulek's like 6 months or a year older than you, but he happened to be like 21, and while Sven was still 20. So we're like, okay, we already claimed the biggest 20-year-old, but now let's go for Sam.
Right.
Yeah.
And the whole conversation started of like, we started doing these videos like Subway Surf of Sven with the mask, because we started with the masks first, with Sam Sulek, because okay, the masks were funny. But then we're like, how are we going to social proof this guy? So we compared him to someone associated to someone like Sam. And then it like literally all took off. Everyone started, commenting like, oh, who's the biggest? And this is just a guy out of Malta, because no one is posting, like claiming that title. There's
Right.
no competition in the world like calisthenics. Okay, there's bodybuilding, but bodybuilding not all at one go. So you never know who the biggest like 20-year-old is. So it's everyone just
Yeah.
claiming it on reels.
Right.
And then people seeing them and comparing it. And that changed his whole
Yeah.
trajectory. He used to work as a customer support
I
agent.
remember you at APS, bro.
Yeah.
I
Crazy.
still remember you at the bank.
I used to force feed chicken while taking calls in a bank.
Wow.
And the calls never stopped, so I almost choked on my
Yeah.
chicken.
You keep-
But like I still kept trying to do it simultaneously.
Crazy, man.
Bro, just don't walk too much here, because you're casting shadows on the faces.
Sorry,
Okay.
go on.
Go on, go on.
What?
What
Say
were
that,
you saying?
repeat that.
Say it again.
You were saying about force feeding
Oh.
chicken.
When I used to work at the bank, like it used to be an office, and bodybuilding on its own is already hard, because you need to aim, if you're trying to get big, at least like 5 to 6 meals a day minimum, and you only get like a 15-minute break at mostly every job, or like 30, maybe an hour,
Right.
but they give you time for one meal, so I had to always force feed in between calls. And working
Wow.
in a bank, you get like 100 calls like in the queue,
Right.
and you need to keep answering. You get like a 20-second break, another
like
call
10
comes
bites
in,
in between.
20-second, another call. So I got big through all of that bullshit.
In the 26. Can you imagine this guy force feeding
Insane,
in a
bro.
shirt? He can a tank top hardly fits
Right?
him.
Yeah.
And like, man, he busted so much balls.
That's
And
the
you have
vlog
like
right there.
you have Grandma
So much
Jones
work.
like shouting, 'cause
Right.
he forgot her
Because
PIN number.
Yeah.
And you're
But she
like-
doesn't know how to use the card, you
Yeah,
know?
so-
In the middle of it.
Like maybe someone calls, they're pissed as fuck, they're losing their shit. I'm just trying to
You're just
force
eating.
feed my meal.
You're like, what'd you say, bro?
And then I'm like,
you lost all your money.
no, like I stop eating when I'm talking. But I'm talking to them, I'm calming them. I'm trying to stay calm, because when someone's fucking insulting you over the phone,
Right.
it's hard to stay patient, you know. But like I'm trying to stay calm. I'm trying to fix their problem. So when I put them on hold to actually fix their shit, that's when I eat. So yeah.
1 second, ma'am.
1 second, please.
That's insane.
Yo, that's insane. How many times have I been put on hold so the operator could just eat?
There
you
I mean,
go.
it's very
Bro,
common.
18
You're having a
sometimes
problem
I'm
with
on
your
there.
with your IBAN number? Hold the line, please.
Sorry, future Mr. Olympia must get
airlines,
his
right?
food in.
And the thing is, I used to actually
Talking
have
to future Mr.
the
Olympia.
best performance in the
One
office.
second.
Yes.
Yeah,
He,
Okay,
he
like
still
it's more
he still
approved.
outperformed his colleagues, man.
yeah.
Say that again.
Crazy. He still outperformed.
I was still
his
like
colleagues.
employee of the month, you know. Like I still outworked everyone
Wow.
while I was force feeding.
Wow.
His bonus was frozen chicken at the
Yeah.
end of the
But
month.
now you moved on.
Yeah.
So how did that transition go? So you went from working at the bank and lifting, right?
Yeah.
So you were lifting like before and after, or just once a day?
I used to lift like 5 times a week,
Okay.
but I knew having a job isn't gonna help me. You know, I always knew if I wanted to get big and I wanted to have a future in fitness, I can't focus on 2 things at once.
Right.
And I always saw a job, a normal job, as an extra thing. So I tried to look for something, a way to make money off of social media. And that's when I started like experimenting. Like I remember scrolling to TikTok, and there were a bunch of influencers at the time going famous, viral, making millions of money. Like I've met them in person recently. They're small as fuck. Like you know, it's these people. They're small, but they just know how to look good on camera.
Facts.
And like when you meet them in person, you're like, fuck, he's actually skinny.
Right.
But since they look good, average people don't look good, so they just attract. They get engagement. So it's very easy for them to pop off. And I didn't know that at the time. You know, I thought these people were special. They were like gods. Like that's how I even saw you. Like you were a
No
fucking,
way.
you're a legend. You know.
Thank you, bro.
I never thought it was
Honored,
possible for me to even meet you, or
Then he's
for
like,
me.
bro, this guy's skinny as fuck.
Yo, he didn't say no.
no.
Bro, it's
he
just
looked good.
literally gaslighting.
It's like, then you meet these guys and they're
I
skinny
just
as
planted
fuck,
that in your head.
bro.
Yo, he fucked you.
Like,
Like it's surreal that I met him. You know.
Crazy.
But yeah, in reality, like no one is actually special.
No.
What makes us special is the mindset to keep pushing, you know.
Right.
Sure.
right? Or the value you put behind it. You know,
Yeah.
like that's what we were walking down the street last night, and like people were like, "Yo, Chris Heria," and like whatever, and we had that conversation because Adam was like, "Oh, your name sounds famous," and I was like, "Bro, when I first started, I remember being in middle school and thinking about like, oh, one day I'm gonna be famous because I wanted to be like in a rock band, a rock star, or whatever." I would always like think in my head negatively, like, "Damn, like, but Chris Heria, that doesn't sound like a famous name at all." Or whatever. It doesn't sound
And I'm
like
literally
it's
saying
if you
the
think
opposite.
about-
right. So
If-
that made me realize, and put it into perspective, it's like, bro, like nothing is like Nike. That wouldn't mean shit if there wasn't value that was put behind
Yeah.
it. Like when you think of Nike, you think of like you have a visual of everything that Nike has accomplished, what they stand for, like
Yeah.
all that visual and value that they've put behind it. You know.
Yeah.
So it's like I feel like, whoa, what the fuck? 3, 2, 1, and act. So I feel like, you know, a name, anything like that, that's like that you create. Even your own legacy, you know, is
Yeah,
exactly
it's just
the same.
associated to what
Right.
people know you.
It's
of.
not lit until like you
No?
make it lit.
Yeah.
You know.
Even like Chris, like, bro, you're like one of the OGs. I remember people like you, Guzman,
bro.
Mike Tyson, like the OG YouTube, you know, like Steve Cook,
Thank
Steve
you so
Cook and,
much.
and,
Yeah,
that,
I've been
and,
doing
those, and those guys. And like even when you came to Malta, like you had hard head about the country. It's like so many people started training because they watched your videos.
Wow.
But sometimes even seeing it from the outside perspective, it's crazy how much a video can affect
Yeah,
like,
bro.
millions of people, bro.
And that's I feel it the most because what I'm doing is calisthenics. So it's like to just see someone where it's like on a crazy level of calisthenics or even on a decent level or even just being able to simply do like muscle ups and stuff like that, you know, and then they're like, yo, I learned this just from watching your videos.
Yeah.
That kind of blows my mind because it's like,
Like-
whoa, we just
But
started a whole
we're discussing
movement.
calisthenics 20 years ago didn't exist, and
Yeah.
then the guys you mentioned were like pioneering it, and then you with your own like way of putting your art to it with your name and the way you performed in front of
Yeah.
camera, you've built like a legacy. And if the first thing that comes to anyone's mind when dating calisthenics on a global commercial scale is Chris Heria.
yeah.
And that was always the goal. That's what I meant from the beginning. It's like I had a very clear vision and goal of what I wanted to do when I started YouTube. And that was basically it, you know, because when I first started, I started representing USA at these international calisthenics competitions. And my first goal is wanting to be the best calisthenics athlete in the world, you know? I was young and naive in that sense too, and also from doing these competitions, I realized too that like you're never gonna be the best. Even if you are the best, you're never gonna be the best, and that's very subjective. You know, it's like if you ask, you know, who you think is the best, you may say somebody else, and you may say somebody else, and you ask somebody else in like Madrid, and they'll say someone else.
Yeah,
you know,
literally.
it's also subjective to them. But something that's 100% definitive is who's the first person to inspire you.
That's
you
it.
know, and that's what I wanted to do because I also came from like a skateboarding background, so I just remember like playing Tony Hawk Pro Skater. You know, the first person that inspired me to start skateboarding and shit, like that person inspired me to skate.
Yeah.
You know, and that's what got me into the whole thing in the first place, and that person you're always gonna have respect for. That
Yeah.
person's always gonna be a legend.
Yeah, you
know?
just became a Tony Hawk of calisthenics.
Bro, so
like
that was the goal.
honestly, like had you ever pictured you'd get to this point?
I didn't have, so that vision wasn't so clear. The only goal was like to spread awareness of calisthenics, because when I first started, bro, you would pop out a muscle up and people would like freak out. They'd be like, whoa, what the hell? Now it's like it's so like easy, you know, like
Yeah.
the
Yeah.
level has gotten to
I
such
was
a crazy
talking
level.
about this 8-minute like video of planche that went viral for him,
Yeah.
that people till this day like watch it.
Still get watched, huh?
And second thing is that they've really like surpassed like the level of calisthenics. Like Chris set the standard, and these guys just took it and
Yeah.
ran
I
home
mean,
with
same
like
with,
two,
like,
two
Svein.
fingers,
Same-
planches you're talking
Now
about.
planche is like a muscle up these days.
Yeah.
It's like everybody can do
Even
that
like
shit.
Svein was saying, like before it used to be all about aesthetics, you know,
Right.
the Z era. Now it's just who's the biggest mass monster,
Right.
you know?
And now it's quite taken an insane turn where it's just like, because it's like you can't, like you said, you can mog and you can like choose angles and lighting and shit and kind of fake that shit. But one thing that you cannot fake, bro, is calisthenics. You know what I'm saying? Unless you're gonna like
Real life
really
is
like,
real life.
yeah, like you either do that shit or you can't. When
Yeah.
you're hitting those
Yeah.
planches on 2 fingers, you know, when you're doing all these like the handstands that you were doing today, it's like 1-arm handstand. You can't fake that shit, bro. You either do it or you can't do it. You know, and that's again, that's also
Yeah.
very definitive. That's not subjective. You
Yeah.
know, and I feel like that's definitely the course that fitness is taking, at least down that that line, because these
Yeah.
kids have way more knowledge today, and they have more time to just like take it to an even crazier
Yeah.
level.
Yeah, I want to open up this conversation, Chris. You've like pioneered calisthenics and street workout, and there's a narrative going on right now. Like we need to make calisthenics great again. Do you feel like it's the narrative that is the narrative true, and you think where do you see the road of calisthenics go?
Well, I feel like there's a lot of opportunity for calisthenics right now because there's a brand new boom. There's like a lot of people that are just like getting into it right now because of like TikTok and stuff like that. Whereas maybe before, back in the day, mainly people got into it because they saw my YouTube videos. But since TikTok has gone on, there's been so many like other younger generations that have started from watching the videos and then showing what they can do. And then the showing what they can do, other people start getting into it. And then it's been a couple years since TikTok has been around, right? And there's also been a lot of girls that have gotten into the sport because of this too. And when girls get into any sport, it makes the sport way bigger. You know, UFC, whatever, like basketball, anything. Like girls are involved. That's why they got ring car girls. You know what I'm saying? Like girls are always involved, even in NASCAR and so forth. So the difference between now and before is there's way more eyeballs there's way more people promoting it, even if they're micro influencers or you know, just normal people. There's still way more people making it public and bringing awareness. Now, as that's the biggest opportunity of today. However, today it's still very unorganized. You know, there's not really a way to make a living off of it for most people. You know, which matters a lot. You know, like no one wanted to do soccer until you can make life-changing money in soccer, until you can become a superstar. You know.
Yeah, we're
And,
saying this, that you're a perfect example of how you can make money as someone just purely from street workout and calisthenics.
Yeah.
YouTube, you've planted the seeds of
Yeah.
10x and your brand. So
Yeah, 100%.
It takes
yeah, like,
long though. It takes
yeah,
a
Yeah,
long
like I
time.
said, in an interview last year when we first started like to push the Throwback brand officially worldwide, because before it was in America. Now we opened our fulfillment centers here in Europe as well. So now we sell all across the world. Now we're able to sponsor calisthenics athletes as well all across the world, sponsor different competitions and so forth. I said in an interview that I want to create the world's first millionaire athlete from calisthenics. You know, that was just 1 year ago, and I would say I'm not too far from it right now. We have some athletes on our team that are super successful, you know, after plugging in with Throwback. And, you know, Throwback is a whole ecosystem. Like you said, it's a trusted brand for over 15 years, you know.
Yeah.
So we have a lot of Thenix athletes, followers, and like loyal supporters. That once you're plugged in, and if you are a talented person and you have like, you know, like for example, our athlete Radoslav, he's doing great, man. He's doing like his personal training. A lot of people link up with him. Nathan is doing great as well. Everyone on the team is doing good, you know, and they have the support from Thenix and everyone behind Thenix. And bro,
I was gonna tell you, in fact, like
doing
calisthenics
crazy.
is usually known as like a poor man's sport.
yeah,
I think if you
not for
bring
us.
money,
Oh, no,
exactly. If
maybe
you
for-
bring money,
Calisthenics, no, you said 10x.
calisthenics, I said.
Oh, I sound like 10x,
Of
no?
course not, bro.
Hopefully that's what it turns into.
Calisthenics,
Right?
I hope
Man.
not, bro.
We can't, you have to talk louder. We
Like
can't hear.
calisthenics, let's go again. Calisthenics is usually known as like a poor man's sport, and I think you said two things that's going to completely revolutionize it and bring it to the top where it needs to be. Is bringing the money in, that's really important, and making it sexy.
Yeah.
And be it through people like yourself pioneering, through women getting into the sport, to creating hype around it, just making it so attractive that it becomes the it thing. It's like you go to the playa, you train at the beach, you get a workout in, you get some
Right.
pull-ups in.
But you know what's missing? Like
And if
with-
girls are
yeah.
doing it, not to cut you off, but if girls are doing it, they can hit a better
Guys-
handstand
then
than
the guys
you.
are gonna
You're
do
trying
it,
to train, bro. It's like
No.
ain't no
Yeah,
way
that's
like
it.
a girl's gonna outlift me. You feel me?
Yeah, but you know what you're missing as well, apart from making it sexy, is that he's saying there's a big opportunity with the creators and all these coming through, but there's no one mainstream event to really bring on
For
the sport
sure.
onto a next, like to transcend the
Yeah.
sport and build a new legacy of the sport. Because like
For
we're
sure.
saying, everyone's saying like make Cali great again, make calisthenics great again. So you're seeing the opportunity, but you still feel like there is this, like the championships and all of this stuff has peaked out, leaving the main athletes, survive to make money, which is pretty hard. But if there's a crazy championships where you bring in like mainstream athletes, like
Well-
we're discussing, then obviously the athletes will be celebrated on a bigger pedestal than before.
Well, I feel like we can't put the responsibility on like competitions and championships per se. I think like for the livelihood of the athletes, you got to put the responsibility on them. You know what I'm saying? In fact, like to be 100% honest, like I started making this into a living when I stopped being competing and being an athlete.
When you
know what I'm
became a
saying?
creator, no?
Yeah, technically when I became a creator, and that's all on you. It's like, what path are you going to decide to do? Like I also wanted to be a gym owner when I started. I opened the world's first calisthenics gym. Then there was calisthenics gyms all around the world. You guys even started opening gyms, and then I realized too, like this is not, going to be my final path either. It was more of like figuring out where I was
Yeah,
going
a
to go.
road to get there. Too.
But then to your
Right.
conversation, like bodybuilding became a sport, like the Olympia became the Olympia and the Arnold became the Arnold because the prize money became big.
Right.
And we're discussing this, like the sport itself, if there's no proper prize money, then
Right.
the championships can't grow. So
Right. If you can't make a living off of being an athlete,
course.
then there's no point in
no
being
one's
an
gonna do it.
athlete.
Like
Of
we
course.
gave more money this weekend at just a 2-year anniversary than the
Yeah.
World Championships give,
Yeah,
which
that's
is
facts.
fucking insane. It fucks me up.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
crazy.
We do these meet and greets like,
I remember going to the World Championships and seeing all the athletes there who had to pay for their flights, pay for their hotel,
Yeah.
pay for this.
Yeah, it makes no sense.
It's
But
crazy.
again, to bring it back to bodybuilding, bodybuilding is like that too. You have to pay to go on stage, bro. You have to pay to like, all of that. Like you're paying to do that. You know what I'm saying? So I think both
But at
of them
least
could be
the-
doing a lot better.
the
to be
prize
honest.
money at least now
Is
started
more,
to.
right. It's more advanced, but I feel
Yeah.
like, again, like I think big. So I'm talking about like trying to be on the level of like a basketball player, a football player, soccer. Soccer is kind of up there, bro.
But there
I mean,
needs
like
to be
even
like,
like
but what I'm saying is these players play World Cups. They play. They play for legacy. They play the NBA finals.
And again, this is kind of the responsibility of both the athlete and the event itself and organizers, because it's like it kind of goes back to like this whole Jake Paul thing, right? Like a lot of people are upset because Jake Paul makes so much money off of boxing and he just walked in here and this and that. But
He's
again,
brilliant,
he's
man.
bringing the asses in the seats. He's bringing
That's
the
it.
eyeballs.
Yeah,
So it's
that's
like,
it.
That's
how can
exactly
you get
it.
upset?
That's
Like
ex-
who's
it's
gonna
a-
watch
it's
you? Then
attention.
it's like
Like
then you
football.
go fight
Exactly.
and put on your own show and make
That's it.
people watch and buy it
Yeah.
and see how much money you make.
It's
on your own.
attention, literally.
Yeah, it's through the
Exactly.
athletes.
If this guy's
football,
gonna bring in millions of eyeballs, I'm gonna pay him a fraction of that, so we do business. Like that's how business works.
Exactly.
You know
it's
what I'm
it's
saying?
attention.
And I don't
100%.
think the
Supply
like,
and demand.
if there's any like rivalry in calisthenics, like between two athletes in freestyle, then it's not pushed enough. Like any sport, I was watching all the documentaries recently of Olympia, and there's always a rivalry. Kai Green versus
Heath.
Phil Heath. You had the Ronnie Coleman era with Flex Wheeler, and there was
Jay
um,
Cutler.
Even Jay Cutler.
yeah,
as
Jay
well,
Cutler. So it's like even rivalries like Messi, Ronaldo. Every sport has
course.
the Michael Jordan against the rivalry, and the thing,
Right.
and that's another thing to build the sport. If you set these rivalries and put them on a pedestal and they start like kind of chatting shit, and the whole community starts debating who's the GOAT or who's the best.
And that could be the responsibility of the event, which is great too. But again,
Yeah.
bringing it back to the creators, you know, it's like, what are those guys doing on their off time though? They're building their name, they're exposing, they're putting
course.
in the work.
Yeah.
You know,
Team
so
effort,
again,
yeah.
back to the if the athletes all they're doing is training and they're not,
Yeah.
you know, putting in that work.
Yeah.
It's like a boxer, but you don't want to be that actor, that showman. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
like
yeah,
Conor
it's literally
McGregor. That's
that.
why he's the highest paid UFC
course.
fighter. If you don't want to be that, you want to be a quiet little act. Do that, but
Yeah.
you're not going to get paid the same. It's just how it works, you know.
For
So
sure.
if you do want more money in this, you also, like, as an athlete, you also have to start making views. You also have to start making content that's gonna
Yeah.
bring awareness.
Like proof of concept
you know?
last year when I had decided to do this whole boxing thing, like, bro, I'm not a boxer like these guys. I did 10 months, but we fucking sold out 2 shows. That never happened here. Like no thousands of people go to watch a creator box just because he's chatting shit. They just want to see him get fucked up. So literally, they paid to see me get beat up. Which
Yeah,
is amazing.
basically.
I love that. You know?
Yeah, and
So
they
yeah,
do
you
the
have
same
to
thing
be
with
down for
Jake
that.
Paul, bro. Like,
Of course,
you know,
man.
that's how it is. Not even just Jake Paul. They do that with like even boxers that have built a
Of
name.
course.
That's what I'm saying. Devin Haney, you know, like
You get invested in the story.
Exactly.
You want to see the
Ryan
payoff.
Garcia,
It's like
Gervonta
boxing is so
Davis,
good
you know.
because if there's beef, you settle it through a fight. That is as primal as it gets.
Exactly.
So it's all settled there. You get the payoff there.
So now I understand more of his point of the event. If like the promoters see like potential to like sell at the end the show, like it's like the producer, which is the
Exactly.
event organizer, is looking for his
Picks
main
his
2
actors,
actors.
That's it. He
So
picks his actors.
so if the producer can't cost, that's basically what you're saying for the calisthenics
Exactly.
thing. Like if the creators are not creating themselves as actors for the cost,
Right.
then obviously you don't blame them for not putting on the set.
Right. But if they
Fuck,
are
that's
though,
crazy.
and they're bringing the views and they're bringing the eyeballs and they're being that,
Of course.
that
you have to be that guy.
that,
you know?
that,
You have
That's
to
so-
be
that
that guy.
actor.
That's such a good way of
Then it's
looking at
then
it.
it's on the event.
Yeah.
You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying? It's like,
yeah.
why aren't you using my likeness? Why aren't you like making this bigger than it, you know, as big as it can be? You know, then that's on them. You
That's
know, and
such a good
again,
perspective,
bringing
bro.
in like
Like-
$1,000
Yeah,
for prize
exactly.
money, that's bullshit. Like
Like-
I've been giving
like we
away
said.
$1,000 just for like
Maybe
messing
one
around.
day-
Yeah, like what we were doing.
Yeah.
Maybe one day we'll throw a kick-ass event and do like
Oh no,
a
we
whole
definitely
crazy
will, bro.
storyline
We will 100%
and start taking it
do
around
that.
the globe. You know, like
We will have
area
to, bro.
takeover. You know,
I
We
want
have
to
to.
see like Larry Wheels in a world championships though.
Yeah,
Against Svein.
and that's what
Yeah.
we're gonna do. We're gonna bring in
Yeah.
like all the creators,
Oh,
bring the
let's watch
eyeballs, and
that.
make them
Yeah.
compete. You know, get these bodybuilders to start doing weighted
Yeah.
calisthenics and stuff.
That
like
would
have
be
a
crazy.
bodybuilding calisthenics competition.
Exactly.
Just bring some eyeballs in. You know,
Yeah.
and then the
Yeah.
athletes could do their thing, and you know, and then
Sven
they'll
will
get some
have his
exposure.
like honors list one day. X-time Mr. Olympia and X-time calisthenics world champion
That would
at
be
the same
crazy.
time.
That would be
Nah,
sick.
Yo,
it's impossible. It's
Multiverse
impossible.
shit. Like
That would be
he
sick.
just becomes a Cali champ. Like.
Imagine by the time he's 35, he would have won maybe 7 Mr. Olympias, and he's like,
They
oh,
will have a
Time-
weight class for him.
yeah,
He can
time to
compete.
change up, you know.
Svein will be alone in that category.
You know, like Ronnie Coleman went from powerlifting to bodybuilding.
Yeah, it would be sick.
I think I would do calisthenics like when I retire. But the thing is about bodybuilding, you spend all those years like pushing all that heavy weight. It's not good on your joints.
Yeah.
So let's say
It's
I
true.
retire by the time I'm 35. My joints are gonna be fucking rusty, you know. Like
Yeah,
if I go to
it's the
try
worst
to do
sport to
the
continue.
yeah, because it destroys your body, you know, on the inside, on the outside. But that you can do it safely. But there is no safe thing about it, you know.
Yeah.
Like the dark side of bodybuilding is you sacrifice your life for one sport.
Literally.
Wow, that's crazy. That's deep.
That's crazy. That's crazy.
It's true. Like you don't see any bodybuilders going to another sport and doing good at it, you know, because it's impossible.
Right.
Like you destroy your body, but it's also like there's two sides to the table. One side sacrifices their life and their body, and they make money off of it. The other side, they sacrifice their life and their body, and they make no money out of it. You know.
Yeah.
Like there's no middle point. You either make money or you don't in
Maybe the
bodybuilding.
Top 5%. Yeah, like every other avenue, eh?
Any
You're
other
either in the
artist
top or you're
performer.
not.
Right. And then that brings it back to what I was saying before. And then you're upset. It's like, how come nobody appreciates my bodybuilding? You know what I'm saying? It's like, well, what are you doing besides bodybuilding?
Yeah. Personal brand, eh?
Like
That's it.
if you know C-Bum, Chris Bumstead, he went super famous. Like he has like 30 million on Instagram. Why? He's a bodybuilder. He's the most famous one because he used to do YouTube before, and he actually worked on his fan base and growing his
There you go.
content, his personality. So people followed the journey. They saw him like, I'm not sure when he started exactly, but I'm gonna say from day one. and he went up to winning the Olympia 6 times, you know. So like it's a crazy story,
Yeah.
and people love crazy stories because most people's lives are boring, you know.
Everything's a story.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We're just seeing what story we're gonna sell
Yeah.
next.
I mean,
Yeah.
you too, Chris. Like, even most people, maybe even your fan base, might not even know the competitions you've won, but they know
Right.
you because of how you've grown on YouTube and the value
Right.
you've given to them.
Yeah.
Like, you're known as
That's,
that guy.
I think that's what it is. What people
You're
know
known
me
as that
most
guy.
is for what I've given to them.
Yeah.
That's what I learned early on too. Like especially to get views really early on was like, because when I first started, I wanted to be an athlete. I wanted to be #1. You know, I wanted to like show my skills, kind of like bodybuilding. You want to just show how big you can get and this and that, right? But then he said Sibon would start to give his insight on things, and like once I started doing the same thing, like instead of focusing on like, all right, I'm working on this combo, this is gonna be so sick, this is gonna be like the craziest combo, everyone's gonna think this is like super lit, look at this crazy level of calisthenics, I started doing the opposite. I started like showing people like complete beginners, like look,
Yeah.
this is how you do your first push-up, this is how you like
Yeah.
get 6-pack abs from home, this is how you do your first pull-up, this is how you turn 1 pull-up to 20 pull-ups, stuff like that, focusing really on beginners, you know. And then that's when like I started getting die-hard fans, because those were the people that actually needed it to change their
Literally,
lives.
yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And
Yeah.
now you're changing lives all around the world. You're actually making a crazy difference, because that translates into other parts of their lives too. Maybe like we got a letter of some other guy that was going through
Yeah.
some really,
Wild.
you know,
Yeah.
serious stuff that was like,
Yeah.
you know, it literally saved his life. You know what I'm saying?
That was, I think, one of the craziest experiences I ever had. When we've brought so many people down and we've had so
Right.
many meet and greets, but this guy was wearing your vest.
That
he
was the
waited.
same guy I was gonna mention.
He
that guy.
waited for like, he stayed up the whole time and he waited an hour towards the end of the meet and greet to be the last guy, literally the last guy. Everyone had left and we had like almost 1,000 people at the event. And he was like even to talk to for the first time, he was getting stuck because he was so amazed. And then he brought out a letter, a handwritten letter. And he told me before he went up to you that he went through some crazy shit.
Yeah.
And I think like literally you saved this guy's life. To save someone else's life, bro.
Yeah,
Insane.
bro.
That is like life.
Yeah.
You have to
like,
tap. You
and
have to tap
mission
yourself on the
accomplished in
back,
life. Like if you
Right.
save someone's life and you've never met that person, bro.
Amazing.
Like sometimes we have to be
insane.
grateful that
Yeah.
we're
Very
here,
grateful.
we're
Very
healthy, like our family is healthy, and then not only to just surpass that, but to save people's lives, bro.
Big facts.
Yeah.
Big fact. And you know, as amazing and humble as that is, that's I've actually heard that story many times. You know, because a lot of times when people like are at the rock bottom, this is like one of the last things that they come to before you know they hit they make the worst things happen. So again, like this is no longer about like, oh yeah, I know him, he's strong, or like I know him, like he's
Yeah.
big, but it's like, yo, I know this guy, he changed my life, or he got me into fitness, or like my life was going like this, I was partying and doing this and all the time, and now I'm still partying, but I'm shredded. No, I'm just kidding. But he's like, now my life is way better. 'cause
Yeah,
it's
and
like
so
this
many
that.
people came to
Yeah,
tell me,
and
like,
let's say they're
I was amazed.
let's say
bro.
they're a father, which there
I
were
was
fathers
amazed.
there too. You know, like if you improve his life, you improve the quality of life
family,
of his
yeah.
family, his children. Like you know,
Yeah.
like it just basically transcends into everything else. And so, basically, to make a long story short, is the more you give, the more you receive. And I learned that very, very early on, and that's why I focus mainly on like beginners, because one, there's more beginners in the world, obviously, than advanced people. It takes a while to get down that road. And those are the people that you're going to make the biggest impact on, to be honest, you know. And if
Yeah.
you really want to make a movement around the world, bro, just focus on the people that, you know, are just getting started.
Yeah, no,
you know?
That's so
Because
real,
that
man.
could be the next Chris
Fucking
Heria,
hell.
bro. You
Yeah,
know what I'm saying?
literally,
Never
literally.
underestimate people's
Literally,
like
bro.
ability or potential. You know what I'm saying? Look how many people underestimated you at the beginning too, and now look at you, bro.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And like you said, none of us are special, bro. We just stayed in it long enough. You know, we just
We're all fucking human beings.
Preach,
Sometimes I
bro.
forget, like when people come up to us and we're just chilling together.
yeah,
We're like, oh shit, like we're just like you, like
Yeah.
you guys.
big facts, bro.
I really believe in impact as well. Like for us, that's the most important thing. It's like
100%.
even our projects are designed around what we want to do, what we want to
Right.
give back.
And
like even the
give,
outdoor
bro.
gyms.
Which you
You
guys
know, we had
do.
no money.
Yeah.
We had
We
to
just
collect
started with
money
the
for it,
problem.
you know?
The problem was we were getting kicked out by police officers. There was nowhere to train during COVID. We were building a lot of shit outdoor gyms that were practically useless. And we just basically said that it's the fucking problem.
There you go.
And look, here we are, you know, we
Yeah.
just keep on building from it. People reacted. We kept on building on that. We built the first one, then we built the second, the third, the fourth, the
Right.
fifth. We made gyms free in Malta
There you
for like
go.
literally like kids. But people just completely sometimes think that our content's all about there's a performance, but people don't forget that there's real life problems that we can solve, which create real stories to actually then document one day. Like
Right.
one day when we were discussing the Chris Heria documentary, and you were telling me some crazy stories that you've been through, like you're like creating your own story in real time. You're like
Big
live,
facts.
you're like live streaming the whole documentation from now, the moment you're alive. Because then in 10 years' time, you literally have the documentary ready.
Live
Your
streaming, yeah.
life is writing your own movie. I believe
Yeah.
that totally.
And you have to have that mentality too, because
sure.
bro, YOLO. You know, if you don't feel like you're in
I
a,
haven't
if you
heard that
don't
shit
feel
in
like
a
you're in a
while,
movie,
bro.
you're not gonna be in a movie. You're never gonna be in a movie.
And speaking
You know
about
what I'm saying?
movies, brother, today, the fit. So I'm like saying, like this guy,
you guys are
no,
looking fly, bro.
no homo, but like when you see you on
Yo.
like with a tank top and trackies,
Yo.
you don't think as a producer director that you can cast this guy. But if you see Chris Heria like this, you're like, oh shit, he should be like
The
this
next
new
movie.
James Bond like
Yo,
movie we're gonna do.
Rush Hour
Svein's
5.
nipple just slipped out.
Oh shit,
It's like every few seconds.
Yo, he's gonna get us demonetized.
Getting
over
hard
there.
on, bro.
yeah, double D
Crazy,
every
bro.
day of the week.
I think
But,
that shit's crazy, bro. Like even people like you, like when I had gotten into the gym, I was like 15, 16. I'd watch a lot of your videos.
Oh, honored,
like
man. Thank you.
how that spreads, how it spreads like wildfire to get
See,
someone
this
like
is
us
what I'm
into the
talking
gym.
about.
You here, and now hopefully with this thing of the free gyms, we do to thousands of people. Svein is like making everyone in Malta want to get into bodybuilding. It's
Right.
fucking insane.
But if Chris
Right.
Heria didn't believe in YouTube back in 2013
it,
and
yeah.
didn't believe in himself as well, then wouldn't he be here? They wouldn't
That's
have
it.
made gyms free.
Right, right.
That's it.
Or if I was just had a different angle, you know, like if I was just like just making different things or trying not to give, you know, but the fact that's the reality of it is, right, is that we were talking about before, there's people way better than me at this point, you know, like light years better than me. But again, I'm here, you know,
You
with
set the
guys.
standard though, bro. We were talking that 20 years ago, calisthenics wasn't a thing. And you were one of the early pioneers of that turned it into this
Well,
mainstream global.
And even if I wasn't, I think just the reason why I'm here today is because I've just given so much. You know what I'm saying? That's what I continue to try to give. Whether as like you can be the best, it doesn't necessarily mean that
Yeah.
you're gonna receive the most.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, but
Preach.
go back to your point. What I think is you sped up the growth of calisthenics. Maybe it was always going to become the sport, but since you came in that time, you were still 19. You had this look. You had this like performer look as well. Your name as well, Chris Heria, bro, is fucking sick,
he
man.
became the face. Chris
Yeah.
is the face.
So
of
I think like
calisthenics.
he kind of sped up the growth of like calisthenics by good 15 years. It would have grown to what it is gonna become and is right now. But I think like when you have the early adopters who are the right fit for the sport, then it just accelerates the
Yeah,
growth
definitely.
of how many people know about it.
100%. I mean, even you have probably experienced a lot of that too, you know, because you've made, once you make like insane views like that, you know, like you're making videos with like over 30 million views, you know, like 100 million views, stuff like this, like then it's like you're actually starting to make like an impression on the world, you know what
Yeah.
I'm saying?
Yeah.
The world, that's the
Yeah.
crazy part. It's the world. This guy who gave you the handwritten letter was Maltese.
Right.
500,000 people in a population
That's
of
what I'm
8
saying.
billion people.
And a lot of times, like, we underestimate these numbers. Like, even
Yeah.
1,000,
think
you know what I'm
it's
saying? It's like,
data.
oh, like,
I was going to say that.
yeah.
Because if you use like, even Svein was showing us 2 days ago, 20 million, 35 million, 35. Like it's nothing.
when you really, and
but
then
there's people. It's
right,
fucking
put a
people
face to the-
consuming
each
it.
I
number.
like kind of putting
and then
that
you don't,
into perspective.
and then you don't underestimate people too.
Yeah.
Then you don't know who's hiding in that. You don't know how many billionaires are in those views. You don't know how
Yeah,
many
yeah.
millionaires are in those views. You don't know how many potential like of the people next up are in those views. Like,
Yeah.
you don't know who's in that pool of
Literally.
views. You know,
Like with
It's
Max's
insane.
video, Max
Donald
had,
Trump could have seen that. He could have
It's
been
true,
there.
it's true.
Max's YouTube video had like 4,000 views, and Chris watched it all, and Chris knew that it was the same shack, the same beach bar. Went, oh, that was the one that Max
It's
was
right,
doing his
right.
presentation. That was 4,000 views, and one of them happened to be Chris Heria. So
Right.
there was one clip like that. This guy was talking about how his life changed when he was getting like 4 views on a podcast for 6 months. He was posting every day, but one of the views was Oprah Winfrey.
That's what I'm saying, dude.
One of the views was
You know what I'm
Oprah.
That's crazy.
It's
And that
quality
changes
over
life.
quantity, baby. That's what it is. So you could have 100 views, right? But if there are 100 billionaires, you know what I'm
man,
saying?
fuck
Then
yeah.
I'd rather have that than
I'll
a million
take
views from
100
like
views like that
brokies.
any day, bro.
The craziest perspective of that is, have you ever been to like a soccer, baseball, football match before? Into a stadium?
No, actually no.
So I used to
What?
go a lot to watch games, like with 50,000 people, 60,000 people. And I was telling Greg this as well. So to put perspective of views, it's like when Sven's getting 20 million, when you go to a football stadium, it's packed. bro, and when you're there, you feel 50,000 people, 60,000 people. When there's a goal, you feel 50,000 people. Now multiply that with 20 million views, so you have that times 40 times, bro, 40 times all in one place, watching this one screen. So imagine, you never comprehend saying 20 million people in one go. I think that would cover Malta. Imagine if we had to say, let's lay out 20 million people filed up on the whole island. I think with a drone shot, you'll cover all Malta. I don't know, we might need more. We'll ask Chad that, because it's actually interesting.
It's so like 50 El Clasicos. It's insane.
It's insane.
Like Ronaldinho type shit. It's wild.
And the funny thing is, we're talking football, we're talking baseball. There are like 25 people there playing on the ground. So you're one person, you're performing for... So putting that into perspective, that each person is a human being, like we are one person of those 50,000, of those 50 million, and just understanding that they are like literally one-on-one with you.
Yeah.
Chris, you haven't watched the fucking like basketball game. You fucking live in Miami.
I know, bro.
What the fuck?
But because it's like one of those things, it's like, dude, it's
like
right
not one
there.
Game, like,
you can go. It's like every single week. Actually, no, basketball game. Yeah,
when
I
we come
have.
up, we go watch.
I'm not gonna lie. Yeah, I have.
One,
I have been into the
Who's
like
your
the Heat
team in
games and
NBA?
stuff like that, bro. If there's one thing about me, it's like I'm not into sports.
Yeah,
like
I'm
that.
the
I don't
same,
even really
I'm the
be
same.
taking sides like that.
Yeah.
To be
So any
honest.
NBA team, if you're watching this, Chris Heria doesn't side with anyone right
Yeah, I'm
now.
open. You could draft me, basically.
I could so picture you with like one of the
with
NBA
the-
kids
with the-
there,
even
showing up
yeah.
at the ground, trying to do a dunk. Bro, I think you have a massive. I think low-key, I think you have a crazy vertical jump.
Bro, that would be so sick. If they put a little trampoline there, I'll try to dunk it. It'd be crazy.
Next time you're here, bro, we need to get the
We'll do
police
a vertical
officers.
challenge.
But we need to get the police officers to see your vertical jump with the challenge of escaping police officers.
Ooh. I know. I wanted to do that
That's
one.
so crazy, bro.
Yeah.
Sure, next time.
So I think you'll be a great NBA player with the layovers, dunks.
Yeah, but let's talk about like what we were getting into today with Svein. So Svein tried calisthenics for the first time today. It was pretty sick. You went for some handstands. What'd you think about that?
Yeah, I didn't think I could do it. Like,
Yeah.
okay, there was a barrier in my head because I've never done it before. So you're always gonna doubt yourself.
Right.
But when you were showing me the steps, and I was realizing how strong I actually am, and how simple it is, like I just need to do this over and over, you know. Like,
Right.
okay, I did a handstand today, but I know if I keep doing it every single day, it's gonna feel easy, you know, because you just get
Exactly.
used to the grip and everything on the ground.
Right.
And it made me realize like how easy things can be if you just stay consistent. You just keep trying, you keep trying.
Yeah.
I kept failing over and over, but I'm so stubborn, like I cannot take a loss, you know. I had to keep going. And we were even like pressured on time, you know.
We're meant to be there for like 45 minutes.
Yeah.
And Sven was so locked in with Chris to just get
No,
it.
yeah.
And,
Yeah.
you
I
know,
was surprised with his mobility, to be honest.
Yeah.
I
To
didn't
me-
think he would do
I
it.
mean, we did a great transformation. So it was a good thing that I showed everybody first. I was like, look, before we get started, let's just see the handstand kick up. And then to the end, kicking up in a straight handstand off the wall, hitting a free standing handstand in just, like you said, like 40 minutes. Dude, very impressive.
And like talking about consistency,
Yeah.
and we were talking about views earlier. Like I think I'm living proof that anyone can do it.
Right.
Because I had nothing. Like when I say I had nothing, I had zero. No money. At one point I had no family.
Wow.
Like I started from the fucking dirt, you know? So it's like if there's anyone right now thinking that they don't have what it takes, use me as an example. Like this is what I'm trying to push now. As long as you stay consistent and you never stop, because I had many reasons to stop. Like I always had problems constantly. Like people think you have it easy. Just because they see me with 1.7 million followers now, they think they just appeared out of fucking nowhere. They think there was no work behind it all.
Right.
You know, it's always like that when there's someone going up. They always think they got it easy. But no one has seen the endless nights that I've had torturing myself, like mentally. I lost my shit, I lost my mind so many times, it's crazy. And I'm only 22 years old, I feel 40 years old because of all the shit that I went through. But no one sees it, you know.
Right.
Like you don't know what I've been through, you don't know what I've been through. You know a fraction of it. You just know an idea of what it could be. But no one was in my shoes. No one gets how difficult it is to stick to the grind and you keep putting the work every single fucking day, every minute. You never stop. It doesn't matter what's going on. You just keep aiming for the same shit. People give up too easily now. No one has balls. No one has balls. It's crazy.
And I think like most
So
people, like
fucking
you're
true.
saying, they tell themselves that, oh, you know, this guy had it easy, just so mentally they feel okay not being where they want to be. And I think that's like the most fucked up thing of it all. It's like the easy excuses. It's like once you push through that barrier of putting in the work every single day, that's when you reap the rewards. And I think now it's good that everyone's a pussy and everyone has no balls, because it's
like
easier.
less competition.
It's easier to, it's
Yeah,
easier
yeah.
to
It's
win.
always the same
It's
excuses.
easier to win, you know?
The same excuses. Rich daddy, steroids,
Yeah.
Yeah, anything, any lie
good
they can put
looking
in
for
their head.
OnlyFans.
Right.
Literally, the whole everyone gets shut on for assuming that they have something like over that person, whilst that person is just there.
And it's funny, the people who are commenting
Commenting.
the shit are seeing Svens come up and
Right.
realize that they're not in that same position,
Right.
they're not fulfilling their dreams.
Right, and it's actually very
take
few
it out.
people that comment that actually make it successful, you know, because most people like that actually become successful are focused on themselves.
Yeah,
They're not
no
worried
time
about
for
what
that
other
shit.
people are doing, because at the end of the day, whatever you got going on is not going to help me. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? So it's like it doesn't matter how easy or how hard it was for you. Like I need to figure it out for myself.
Exactly.
You know?
I never even like commented on TikTok.
I hate comment.
No, like in general. Like I don't
I've
care.
never
This man has no
made
time.
a
It's
comment.
fucking
You don't think about these
Like
things
I don't
when you
even
focus on
like. I
yourself.
just swipe. You know.
Yeah.
Like the only time I comment if it's like the Trent twins because I met them and I like
to
them.
support your friends.
Yeah, and I know who they are.
grow
Yeah.
their engagement. Yeah, I do the same
The
shit.
same people who stay commenting on your hate would be scared to go to the gym because they would think people are looking at them.
Yeah.
So literally,
Yeah, just
Like,
silence
bro,
it.
nobody
It's-
cares about you, bro.
literally,
Exactly,
but they
it's
created their own.
business.
They created their own problem because since they comment on people, people think they care about them, but
Right.
no one cares about you in the gym. So
Right.
they have this idea in their head because they spread hate comments that they think when I go to the gym, everyone's going to look at you. But we know as guys and girls that when you go to the gym, the only person that's thinking about what like
Is
you have
yourself.
something like in your insecurities yourself.
Yeah.
People are all in their heads thinking about their own
Also insecure.
problems.
Yeah, exactly.
Exactly.
So like,
Yeah.
oh, today I didn't see my mom, or oh, I had a fight with my girlfriend or something. While we're all doing that in our heads times 100, and we're thinking that when I walk in the gym, everyone's looking at me, cameras are on, the pups are here to take a photo and put it on the news, when there's fuck all and no one. But it's these funny people because they would comment, so they're already being insecure about themselves, so they would think that people are commenting about them in the gym.
Yeah.
I see what you're saying. Yeah, because you're always guilty of like how you
Yeah.
you are.
So they're so in their head.
Because you know you're capable of
Yeah.
it. So it's like
Yeah.
yeah.
And even that message, like what Svein is saying, I think we're in an exciting position, like Adam and myself primarily, because like we're not at that level yet, but we're experiencing the come up. I'm enjoying the come up. Now we're working with people like yourself on a regular basis and really connecting to the point where we know if we keep pushing more, we
Right.
could get to that level. So I feel like we're like the aspirationally normal guys who are on this come up right now. And if there's one thing I want anyone viewing who watch till the end of this video to take, it's like, if you do fucking put the work in, like you did for 15 fucking
Yeah,
years. like
never
Svein
skip
has
out.
been doing for years. Like we've been doing for years, you will eventually fucking get to it. Like
Oh,
if
yeah.
the mindset is right and you just keep pushing through and don't spend your time commenting on TikTok,
Yeah.
on
Yeah.
Svein's videos. Like it's true, it's proof in the pudding. Like
Yeah.
it's happened to all these guys. Hopefully one day we'll be on your level, bro.
And
And
Oh,
that's where we're going.
100%.
something
You guys are always
else
there.
to mention is it doesn't get easier. Like
Right.
the bigger you get, the bigger following, the more money you make. It's gonna get even harder to keep it
More
all.
pressure there is.
More money,
You
more
know,
problems.
Like
yeah.
no one gets this. They think just because you get to this point, you're suddenly living an easy
Or
life.
they think, he's got a brand deal.
Yeah.
But, you have to keep up to your brand deal. You have to keep up to your standards. You have to keep on delivering the content. You have to keep on
Like,
going
you
viral.
need to stay
so
relevant,
It's
you
not
know.
just, okay, he signed that 2-year contract and it's all hunky-dory
Yeah.
and you get the paycheck. It's just, you've got to fucking get on your ass every day.
Right.
It's
to
even
prove
harder.
yourself.
It's even harder.
Like the work never stops, you know. And especially like me coming from nothing, I always have this fear in the back of my head. Like I don't want to go back, you know. I cannot fail. I have to keep growing. Like
Right.
that mindset is stuck in me, you know.
Right.
So every single day of my life, I can barely even enjoy what I gained.
Right.
And I gained so much.
Right.
Like after the Mark Thurston event, it took me a year to get to where I am now. I gained 1 million followers in a month. I gained another 700 later. Like I got shadow banned twice. No one sees anything, you know, like I'm still struggling right now. I'm
Right.
still going through shit right now. As we're talking, I have problems right now, you know. No one gives a fuck, you know. Like if I fail, if I lose everything, no one's gonna care. No one's gonna care. Like this drives me up. This is why I cannot fucking stop, you know. I have to keep pushing like until I'm fucking dead. It's just how I see it.
Right.
Like this pisses me the fuck off because I'm telling you, I have so much shit going on right now, and I'm struggling to keep everything together, and I can't remember the last moment in my life, like I'm saying, like the last 3 years, where I had a moment of peace, ever.
Bro, I feel like I'm right there with you, bro. There's a lot of shit going on like that too, you know, and it's right what you just said. You just can't stop, bro. You know, and us as men, bro, we just have to keep it going, hold that shit together. And to speak on Scott's, like what you were saying before too, just to give you guys advice of where you're at too, which is what I wish I knew, and you too, Svein.
I have a call.
Well, this is for Svein too. You can watch this after. Especially like when I was like at the level you guys are, bro. If I could have gotten this advice, you guys are, or in general, you're always more lit than you think you are. You know, so it's like you may think like, okay, we're like right here, but really you're like here.
Yeah,
you know?
yeah.
And then it's like you only see it in hindsight after.
Yeah, yeah.
Or you look back at like a year ago, like, you know what, bro, that was lit, or like, yo, we were
Yeah,
lit
yeah,
then, or
yeah,
like this
yeah.
and that. That's why like people are always talking about their high school years and
Yeah.
stuff like that. Oh, back in my day, I used to.
Yeah, we just have to enjoy
can,
it, bro.
Yeah, you can see how lit you were in hindsight.
Like, we're gonna
But
look
when
back,
you're in
yeah.
the moment,
Yeah.
you never realize how lit you are. So that moves on to the next thing. So, bro, hit the iron while it's hot. If you're lit now, go as hard as you can.
Literally.
Do not sleep. Do not wait. Like, don't feel like, you know, this, oh, we're cruising now. We made it, like you said. No, this is, you have
Yeah.
to make it feel
Yeah,
like
yeah.
it's only going to be like this today.
Yeah.
It
You know?
happened to us
You got to do
when-
this now,
Yeah,
now.
we made that mistake big
You
time,
need a
bro.
sense of
Oh
urgency.
my God,
of
we made
fire
that
under
mistake
your
so
ass,
Yeah,
much,
like
bro.
you can't fucking like,
Right.
you know.
Like after the free gyms,
Right.
we're like, now we need to
Yeah,
fucking
because
go.
in reality,
Yeah.
that's actually how you progress.
Yeah, that's
It's
how you
by
go,
create the
you know,
snowball
double
effect.
Yeah,
down.
snowball
Yeah,
effect.
yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah,
So
we
it needs
fucked
to
up
get,
exactly like that after Mike Tyson, after that event.
You need
we
a
fucking went to
compound.
Mykonos, bro.
We just said, oh, we need a break
Because
from
we were
this.
tired.
No
like we
breaks,
actually,
bro.
Yeah, we were tired
Go-
and we
bro,
fucked up. You know?
Bro, tired. You guys are young. You
Yeah.
got no kids. You got
We're
no, what are you gonna?
fucking
What are you
bullshit.
tired from? That's
we
what I
made
used to
a
tell my
mistake.
workers.
That's our biggest mistake.
Bro,
Yeah,
this is
yeah,
what I
for
used
sure.
to tell my workers too, my editors and
We took
filmers
the
and
foot
stuff
off
like
the
this.
gas, man.
First of all, they had the best job ever. They would work from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. Right, and then like it would be like 1:56 or whatever, 1:57, and we're filming the outro to one of my videos, and this editor, this filmer is like, bro, like hurry up, bro, like I gotta go. Mind you, bro, this kid is young, single, nothing, like, bro, he has no kids, nothing, no responsibilities. Like, what are you hurrying up to rush to your house to do nothing for?
Literally.
You know what I'm
Literally.
saying?
That's so
Like, you're trying to
fucking
hurry up and get
crazy.
out of here, and you got nothing going on with your life. You're not going there to take care of your kids. You're not going there,
Crazy.
you know, what are you going to rush home to your girlfriend and just sit there and watch Netflix in your underwear and shit? Like, bro,
Chris
come on,
Chris
bro. Like,
Heria's hiring
Oh
right
shit,
now.
this is the craziest thing.
like,
he
I
said.
think
this-
someone's-
like,
I think
yo,
someone's
you
losing
need
his
to
job.
like, you need to stay here overtime because you're not where you want to be in life. You know what I'm
Fuck.
saying? And you have no kids. You have all the time in the world to be a savage now.
100%.
Oof.
You know what I'm saying?
Tough.
Spitting bars. Bro, you're like a big brother to us now in the game.
Bro, I
in
love you guys
fitness.
so much, man. Really.
What's
This is the
what's
coolest trip
another one more
ever.
piece
Love
of
you, Scott.
advice
Yes,
you'd
sir.
give us now? You've met us, like, you know, we've been together a couple of days. Where do you see us take this, bro?
Bro, I see you guys doing very, very well because you've developed a very solid team and a team that's like hungry, you know,
Yeah.
like of young kids that can move on the fly, edit on the fly.
Yeah.
You know, I would say
Shout out to the boys,
only
Max,
thing is
Timmy,
you guys,
Jason, Romeo.
Oh, they're looking
right,
at us
all
so.
these guys right
they're
here.
so proud,
Yeah.
man.
Yes,
I'm so
sir.
proud.
Romeo, yeah, Max, everybody, bro. It's really, I would double down on what I just told you guys because I can see from an outside perspective of what you guys need is like you guys cannot stop.
Yeah.
You need to compound, you know, and you need to
Yeah.
make exponential growth, you know. And I heard all the plans that you guys have,
Yeah.
like, you know, more gains and stuff like
Yeah.
that. The food service that you guys
Yeah.
have. I've tried the food; it's delicious.
Yeah.
I know you guys got really big
Yeah.
things on the way, the fight cards and stuff. But do not slow down and hit the iron while it's hot. Don't fear that you
Yeah.
can't do
Yeah,
huge
we need to do
things.
2 years of
Double
just
down.
dial.
We have a
Right.
crazy
Think
vision.
that it's gonna be
We
gone
have a
tomorrow.
Oh, yeah.
Do it now.
Yeah.
You know what I'm
We
saying?
have a crazy vision. I'll end it with this. What we've always wanted to do is like now compounding is have this fitness house, right? So it's like this content house for self-dev, collabs, athletes, meet and greets, meetups, events, where like people like you are constantly coming down every week, creating their own content, like podcasts, like workouts, like how-tos, like whatever it is. Where you literally have the biggest names in the game always collaborating in this space, which could be like this most viral fitness concept on socials. And we've
Yeah.
wanted to do that for a while, man.
I think that's a really great idea. That's what I was telling you, Adam, before. I was like, bro, you're the glue to a lot of this. You know what I'm saying? Like you help I mean, you pretty much hosted the event, the Chris Heria event that we had, the Bulletproof Chris. You brought everybody on, and I mean, you even brought me and Svein together. So you know, I think this is also a great talent too. It's like some DJ Khaled shit.
Yeah,
You feel me? It's
literally.
like,
I could
he
be
doesn't
the
do
artist in front, and I
anything.
could be the guy behind.
Yeah,
you know?
he just brings like the best artists together. They make a track, and it's like it's perfect. It's a single, you know, it's a hit, you know. And a lot of times, like curation, bro, that's like where the real value is of knowing what to put together to make it lit or to make it sick, you know.
Yeah, that's so true.
Yeah, it's hard to make an actual good event which people enjoy.
Right.
Like, you're the only people doing this here.
Yeah.
There's no one else trying. People
again-
bash you and they shit on you,
Yeah.
but they don't do anything, you know.
But
So let's go big. Let's go big.
That's what
Chris
it is.
Heria.
Yep.
We'll get Larry Wheels.
Yep.
Trent wins.
Yep.
Maybe Noel Diesel.
Who?
Noel Diesel,
No,
big
you don't
bodybuilding
know
guy.
it.
Daddy
Whoever
know
you
it.
guys
Daddy
want,
know
man,
it.
We'll make it.
Yeah.
We'll make it
And he
super
show
lit.
you
We'll
this
get the
guy.
whole fitness.
And
You guys gotta think
because
big,
I want to
bro.
beat
We
your
want the
event.
entire
I want to beat your Tel
fitness.
Aviv event. I want to smash
Listen, we're
those
gonna go
numbers.
2
Oh, we
years.
will, bro.
I wanna
We got
2
smash
you.
years
those
in the.
Let me tell you, that
in
Tel
the
Aviv-
trenches.
Yes, brother. And let me tell you, that Tel Aviv event, we just put that together also in under 24 hours. It's
Crazy.
like the
Crazy.
calisthenics community in Tel Aviv is just
You had
so
thousands
lit,
of people,
bro.
no?
Yeah, it was a sea of people, bro. I've never had such a big lit event in such a short amount of time ever.
I want to beat that.
It was
for
more
sure.
lit than like the Fit Expos in some ways, bro.
Yeah,
Depending.
crazy.
Like,
The thing is,
some of them.
we literally get a good amount of people, and we actually turn it into crazy content. So
Yeah.
imagine we just compound that.
Yeah.
So like then our events become more notorious to have like,
Right.
oh, you saw that video, it went viral. If I could perform in it, I could go viral. We were doing the same thing. So when we did the free gyms launch, there was this guy I kind of put in the voiceover. This guy looks like David Late's twin, and now he's posting content because the video went viral, and everyone started like commenting him. Oh, this guy looks like David Late. That now on his actual TikTok, he's starting to post like
The Svein
lookalikes next
There
to
you
like.
go.
Yeah.
This vein effect.
There you go. So we're doing big numbers. We're doing big events.
Yeah.
Brands, businesses that want to become a part of this huge opportunity, just hit us up down below.
2
You
years
just
in the
made me
trenches.
hungry,
Yes,
bro.
sir.
2 years in the trenches in the X house will be
I
lit.
swear, in 1 year from now, we'll do this again in the content house.
This
I
is gonna
promise.
be like
I swear.
Bitcoin. You're gonna wish you jumped on early on and
I
invested.
swear.